I'm Sarah. Welcome to my house. Allison and Natalie and I are going to teach this today. This is kind of an intro into business building and talking a little bit about what it is that business builders do with Young Living. But the first thing we're going to talk about is the very first thing that you get told in network marketing, which Young Living is a network marketing company, is that you have to have a why. You have to have it written down because this job is simple, but it's not easy. And so you need to just have that written down, concrete in your mind so that you can keep coming back to it on the hard days. On the days when you get a lot of no's, on the days when you have classes and nobody comes or nobody signs up or you can't get anybody to host a class. You need to keep coming back over and over again to your why. And so we talked about it just a tiny bit on the event page, but one of the reasons, my first why, when I first started doing this, because I just got into oils because I like the oils. I was never going to work it as a business. And so then at some point, the three of us were kind of like, hey, we're all using these oils. What if we try to do it together, like working this business side? And so we decided to do that. And my why initially was just, I want to cover the cost of my oils every month because I want all the oils every month. I was on ER and I just didn't want that coming out of the household budget all the time. And so that was my first why. I just want to get my oils paid for. And so I did that after a few months and then it was like, okay, I need my next why. So your why is going to change over time. And there are a couple of different ways to look at whys. You need to have, why are you doing it? Like, what's your immediate thing? Getting your oils paid for. Kind of long-term why. Why? Because I want to be financially free. I want to be able to work a job that gives me flexible hours and time with my kids when I want to be with my kids, which is not all the time. And so so everybody's got to have that in their mind. So we're not going to sit here and do it today, but I would love for you to go home and write and do some writing and get that, like that'll help you process it and help you think about what your why is. Okay, so what are your goals? So why is it, okay, why are we doing this? Goals. If you write a goal down, then supposedly you will meet it. Mm-hmm. So there's a couple of different goals that you could have. You could just want to pay back your kit and get your oils paid for. You could want to save money for vacations and splurges. You could be working a job that you really hate and you would really love to replace that income so you could stay home. We have friends who were teachers and had stayed at home with their kids when they were little and were looking at going back to work and at a school, full-time teacher, and they decided they did not want to do that, and so they started working in Living to replace that income so that they would not have to go back into a full-time teaching job. Paying off debts. A lot of us have a lot of debt, school debt, just life debt, credit card debt, mortgage that you're trying to pay down. The Young Living income is going to help do that. Maybe you want to retire early. Maybe you want to earn residual income for life, which I like that idea of getting checks in the mail for forever if I build a strong enough and big enough organization. And Young Living gives you the opportunity to do that. Another goal is building and joining a community of health and wellness focused individuals. This was not my goal initially, was not even on the radar, but creating it and building it and working with friends, that's one of my favorite parts about working a Young Living business in Joy and Pep, is that I've made so many friends that I would not have even known without Young Living. And so being part of a community that is local and focused on learning and growing together is huge. So write down your whys and your goals, and then if you want to, go back on the event page and like let us know what you came up with, and like that's another place that we can chat about it, or in the Business Builder page. So this is the income potential with Young Living. This is the average monthly income. So look at where you want to be. What do you want to make a month? I'm a silver. I make above the average silver income right now. I have friends that are gold who are making platinum income, but they're at gold, so they're making way above average gold. They're making a platinum income. So these are people that I know in real life. and that we all know in real life. And so there is a whole possibility for you there. And it all goes back to why do you want to do this, and how hard do you want to work it? And there will be seasons. There will be some seasons that you have to take some time off and you really can only just do the bare minimum. And then there are some seasons where you're like, I really have time for this and I want to make time for it and I want to really go hard after it. And so you're going to see tremendous growth during those times. But it's also a job. I didn't work hardly at all this summer, honestly. I took so much time off. My girls were out of school. We had so much time together as a family. I worked practically none, and I still got that check in the mail every month because I had built that organization and had done all of the hard work for years leading up to that so that I could take a couple of months off. So that's another great thing about the business. And there are people in our upline that we know of who have had to take time off because of health problems or death in the family, and because they've done the hard work of building their organizations and having all the classes and doing all of the work. They're able to take time off and spend time with their families, focusing on what is the most important, but those checks are still coming. There's not any other job on the planet that's going to pay you for just like hanging out. But this one does, if you need it to. So anyway, those are the income potential. You should have an income disclosure form with you. Okay, we're going to move on.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about comp. First thing is you need to know all the terms that kind of go with it. Level, I imagine you probably all have a good idea, but it's your first level is the people that you personally sponsor, second level is the people under them, and so on, and so on. Allison Swift is on my first line, and then Kim is under her, so she's my second line. And then Judy's under Kim, so she's my third. And then Diane is under Judy, so she's my fourth. So it kind of goes like that. And then a leg is each sales organization that extends from each personally sponsored person. So Allison on down from there, that's one leg for me. The enroller is the person who's responsible for personally introducing a new distributor to Young Living. This one's really important because sometimes you and another friend are working this together and y'all have someone who wants to sign up, and sometimes it's hard to figure out who should be the enroller and get that bonus that we're about to talk about. But it's usually, really it always should be the person who started talking about Wheels with them first. That's kind of across the board how we like to do things in Joy and Pet. The sponsor is the new distributor's direct upline and main support. Oftentimes it's the same person, but sometimes, like when Allison and Kim signed up, Allison's my first line, and then to be strategic, I put Kim under Allison. And so I was the enroller on both of them, I think. That's right. And then
I was Kim's
I'm Allison's sponsor, and Kim is sponsored by you. So we can help you with that, with being strategic if you ever have questions. Across the board, I would say that our advice that we give now is just to put everybody on your first line in the beginning, because you can kind of decide who wants to be a business builder and things like that, and then you can move them later. But once they've been placed under and then they have a downline, you can't move them again. So kind of just stick everybody on your first line. That's kind of what we say in the beginning. Your upline, I'm sure y'all know what this means. Your upline is anybody who's above you. So directly above you or even more levels above you, we're all your upline. Personal volume is the sum of the PV of a distributor's total orders for the month. Usually that equals dollars, but not always. And then OGV is your whole organization group volume. So it's all of the orders in your organization. So there's 4 ways to get paid. There's the Start Living bonus and the Fast Start bonus. Those go to the enroller. And then there's retail earnings, which I'm not going to really cover very much of because I think we have so few retail customers. It's just 24% from their purchases. That's what that is. And then there's unilevel commissions and the Rising Star bonus. In order to get, this slide kind of explains how much you have to spend to get each thing. If you just are kind of starting out and you're just enrolling new people, you only have to spend 50 PV to get those 2 bonuses. And then once you've kind of built up more of a organization, you need to spend $100 or 100 PV to get the unilevel commissions and the Rising Star bonus. On the Rising Star bonus, you have to be spending 100 PV on Essential Rewards. That's the only one that you have to be on ER for to get, is the Rising Star. So the two bonuses, the Start Living bonus is a one-time $25 cash bonus when your new person buys a PSK. Just across the board, 25 bucks. And then you earn 25% on all of their orders for the first 3 months. So when they buy a premium starter kit, that works out to $50. But if they buy a premium starter kit and a few other oils, you'll actually get a little bit more than $50 because you'll get 25% of the rest of their order. So if they buy a bottle of RC with it or something like that, you're going to get 25% of the PV of the RC that they bought. Unilevel commissions, it kind of is based on your rank, but across the board you'll get 8% off of everyone's orders. That does not apply during the first 3 months because you're getting the Fast Star bonus. And that in order to get these, remember you have to spend 100 PV, but this is kind of how it works out. You get 8% on your first line, 5% on your second line if you're a distributor. And if you rank up to Star, then you get commissions on an extra level. So there are some months where, because of how things shake out in my downline, I'm an executive, but not all months was I hitting executive. And so some months I would get that 4% on my fifth line, and some months I wouldn't, because if I am only a senior Star, I don't get that on my fifth line.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So do you technically go back down a level each month?
You start at 0. Everybody starts at 0. Sarah starts at 0. Allison starts. We all start at 0. We all start as nothing really. Distributors, I guess. Once we spend our 100 PV.
Every month it starts over.
So every month it starts over, and then as you get there. But once you hit a rank, you're considered that with Young Living. Like always, whether I hit executive or not, I will forever and always now be an executive with Young Living.
So do you get the benefits of
So I
executive?
get to still call the executive line, and the only thing I don't get is those commissions, those extra commissions. So Rising Star bonus. This one is kind of confusing, but if you can really get a good grasp on it, it really teaches you kind of how to structure your organization, and will set you up really well to hit all of the ranks going on. So for Rising Star bonus, you would start out trying to get 3 legs that all have 300 OGB each. You want to have 3, boom, 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 that have 300 OGB, and the people at the top of those legs have to spend 100 PV on ER. So you have to be on ER spending 100 PV, and they have to be on ER spending 100 PV. I'm sorry, I keep looking at you because you're like right in the middle.
That's okay.
So that would get you 1 share once you have that. So then, once you have that, you're going to try to bump up 2 of those legs to start spending 500 OGB, and then adding 2 more legs that spend 300 OGB. So then you would get 3 shares, and you would have 5 pretty strong legs. 3 of them are spending 300, 2 of them are spending 500.
The people under them, they're
Yes.
not all spinning it.
No, their whole leg, everybody underneath them, spending that 300 OGB and the 500 OGB. Then once you've got that going, you want to bump these 2 legs up to 1,000, and then have 2 of those legs bump up to 500, and then have 2 more 300. So eventually the goal would be to have 7 really strong legs. And the reason for that is that in order to hit ranks really silver and above, kind of, you need to have, like at silver, you need to have 2 really strong legs, and at gold you need to have 3, and at platinum you need to have 4. And so by setting your organization up this way in the beginning, it really structures you well to hit those later ranks later on, because the people that you were talking about who are gold but getting a platinum paycheck, it's because they don't have those extra legs. They didn't build those from the beginning, so they're having to start from scratch, and it's going to take them a lot longer to get to platinum because of that. Structuring yourself this way might make it take a little bit longer for you to hit ranks, but it's really ideal in the long run because it will set you up better for later in the, wouldn't you say? Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a 6 one way, half dozen the other, because if you do go, I'm going to build 2 really deep legs to hit silver, you're going to hit silver quickly, but you might stay at silver a longer time. And the same with the other ranks. So
Which is
it's
what
kind of
happens
how you want to do it a little bit. But we can, that's another thing that we can sit down with you over coffee and go, okay, let's look at your people. But at the beginning, we're just getting people signed up. So this is a little bit high level, but like Natalie said, it's a really good way to think about structure for the future.
Yeah, once you're ready to start thinking about structure, it's a really good kind of roadmap for you in terms of how you want to build things. Do you have a question?
She kind of said, you could sit down personally and talk about it. But I was going to ask if you could like give an example of how to build the legs, because like I'm really new, so I.
Okay, so in the beginning, you just want to sign everybody up on your first line. And then people will kind of come out of the woodwork and say, hey, when are you having a business builder meeting? And you might want to post about it once a month or less or whatever, just mentioning not only how much you love the oils, but that the business side has been so fabulous for you. And you'll have people approach you. That's kind of how, that's what happened with Allison Swift right there. Like I didn't even know you. I met you at my very first oils class and you're like, I want to sign up. And then all of a sudden, she decided to start working as a business. And so at that point is when you might start placing people under her or helping her have her own classes and get people like that. But for right now, in the very beginning, you just put everybody in your front line because you can move them later.
Okay.
Does that
So
answer?
sign people up.
Yes.
Sign people up.
Sign
Yes.
people up.
We'll get into
Sign
that with
people
the
up,
how.
and then when
I will
people
start
start
that in
getting-
the how.
Allison's gonna do that part in a minute.
Yes, that's our whole.
We just want to make sure y'all know when we speak this language, when we say legs, when we say sponsor and ruler, that you know what we're talking about. So.
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah.
a deadline for moving them?
Yes.
There is, in the first 30 days, it's really easy.
20.
20, that's right, they changed it. First 20 days, it's really pretty easy. But after that, you can still move them. There's just a $35 change fee, and you have to get approval from your 3 direct uplines. So, I mean,
Or you have to wait 6 months. Like that's what we did with Sweet Lisa. She signed up under someone at some fair at her church and didn't realize that, oh, you could have a community and you could have business training and you could have all these things. So she came to one of my classes in May and was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I don't even know this person. Can I move? And so there's a couple ways to do that. One, you can email your sponsor if you don't know them, but you get their email from Young Living. You email them. If they don't respond in 60 days, you're supposed to be able to move them pretty easily. We had a couple issues with her, but that's one rule. The other rule is to wait for 6 months of inactivity. We got to the place with her where she hadn't ordered in 6 months. So she signed up in March, right? March or April, and then we were able to move her in October, easy peasy, because she hadn't done anything in 6 months. Her sponsor hadn't contacted her back, so she got moved over, and we stuck her under Ashley. So those are some ways to do it if you have to move someone that maybe didn't know or wants to work it.
and if it's someone in your first leg that you decide in 5 months that you want to move them, it is possible to do it. It's just harder. But it can be done.
Yeah, we know all the tricks.
Yes. You just ask one of us and we'll help you.
So I contacted Young Living about moving somebody whose sponsor lives in Australia, and we never heard from them. So nothing ever got done.
Huh.
Well, we're gonna get into that with the how, but that's something that like if you contact Natalie or you contact Sarah or we have some special
Reach out to
lines.
me
Yeah.
and like I have an executive line that I can call and Sarah has a silver line that she can call and they get things done faster. So if you ever have any problems with customer service, come to one of us
Okay.
and we will help you. And
we're
if I
not-
can't
yeah.
get it done on the executive line, then Sarah will try with the silver line and we'll get it done.
Okay.
Okay, so this is rank qualifications for distributor through executive. To be a distributor, you don't really have to do anything. You order your stuff and as long as you order $100 or 100 PV, you're a distributor. So that's it. To hit star, you want all the people, you and all the people under you ordering 500 PV total. To hit senior star, it's 2,000. And then executive is kind of where the legs start coming into play. You want to have 2 legs that each have 1,000 OGV, and then your overall of everybody needs to be 4,000. I'm not going to talk about it any further than that because it's confusing. So once you get further than that, we can help you. Okay, so this is your part.
Do you want to take a quick break to
you have
ask
any
any more
questions?
questions or grab
Yeah.
some food? I know that's a lot of terminology.
It is.
and
It's
numbers.
hard. I hate talking about comp because it's kind of confusing. And unless you're sitting down with your downline in front of you, it's hard. One thing that's really great, there's an app called Oily Tools. It's $5.99 a month, and it calculates your commissions for you at any given time. I can pull it up right now and see based on where I am right now what my check will be next month. And it gives lots of stats and things like that. So if you're brand new and you don't necessarily want to spend that right now, that's totally understandable. But if you, once you're kind of a little bit further up, it's a good app to have. Because it's not just your paycheck that it tells you. It tells you all your stats, like what percentage of people are ordering, what percentage is on ER, how that kind of thing. So it's a good tool.
It tells you when things come in and out of stock too.
And I get an alert like anytime someone signs someone up, I get an alert from that.
Yep.
So. Any other questions about that?
So each leg has to be 1,000.
To hit executive,
Right.
yes. Yes. So that's been my problem. I have one
Two legs.
really, really strong leg,
Yeah.
and then my other leg kind of.
Fell through.
Some months it's awesome, like
Took a
last
little
month. Some months it's not so much.
Are you considered a leg on your own?
Yes.
You're like,
One of
sorry,
Sarah's.
so
I'm
now
one of Sarah's legs.
Not for her, like
Oh,
your
the
right
one
leg
who
and
lives.
my leg.
Oh.
yeah.
Am I your right leg?
Yeah.
You are.
But
Just
just
out of
your
curiosity,
organization starts
so-
with you,
Right.
and then your legs kind of fall out.
So if you don't
from
have
there.
any legs, you can't ever hit that level, right?
You can't ever hit
Right.
executive, right? So if you just have one, like every single person is on your first level and that's it, and you have 4,000 OGB, you won't hit executive because you don't have any legs.
Got it.
You'll still be making
Actually,
commission.
You'll still be making
your first
you know,
level.
8% on that 4,000.
Yes,
I'd be
you're my
considered
You're
first
my
level.
first level.
So how would I become a leg for you? Once I start
Once
signing
you
up?
sign up
I
people
see.
under you.
Mhm.
I'm officially
I want to be a leg.
Girl, you are. You're a good one.
Get it, girl, get it.
Aria just hit star last month.
Well, don't get too excited. I spent all the money.
I know, it's really easy to hit star yourself. With nobody else.
I was shocked. I was like, oh, I made star, but I spent all the money. I feel like a fraud.
I felt like a fraud.
That's legit.
It's legit accounts.
Any other questions?
There's lots of pages too. Natalie made all
Yes.
those gorgeous pages in your little folders that you can
Yes,
use.
and it goes through all the same stuff that's in this slideshow. It kind of explains it all, so you can like steer at it a little bit more when.
And is there a place for us to like download these and fill these out?
We're gonna have that all up on the. I think they're actually the old version is already in the files on the
Okay,
business
yeah.
builder page.
These are just new. Natalie just revamped them this week to make them even prettier.
And we're
So
working
we'll put them in the file
on
section of the business builder page.
a website for Join Pep and getting that all set up, and there's gonna be a business builder section of it that you can log into and download all the stuff, all the things.
Can I ask a stupid question?
No.
What's the difference between the hustle page and the business builder page?
Hustle is all my people. Like anyone in my organization, Joy and Pep is everyone under Sarah.
Under me.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's just a business builder
And then
page.
business builder is.
All of the
business
Joy and Pep
builders.
business builders. Allison is
anything-
one of Sarah's legs, I'm another leg, so I didn't even know that there was a hustle page.
Yeah.
Because I'm the other leg.
So anytime it's Joy and Pep and Joy and Pep Business Builders, that's everybody under me.
Got it. So you're
Yeah.
above Allison?
I'm above Allison and Natalie. They
You're
are
like-
my,
Yeah, so
They're
it
on my
goes
favorite
Sarah,
line.
and then it goes
You're right
Allison
and
and
left
me.
leg.
yes, exactly.
And we're her leg.
They are why I am silver. And now I'm trying to grow a third leg. It's hard.
So
So,
that's what she'll do to hit gold.
yeah.
So.
Wow.
Sarah is the mama.
Mm-hmm.
She's our, she's
I
the
didn't know
mama.
that.
I
She
was
is the
wondering
Joy
who
and
the
Pep
mama
mama.
She's the Joy
Yeah,
and
Sarah's the
Pep.
mama.
Thank you
Mama.
for not calling me the grandmama. About the mama.
We should post like our family tree somewhere
Yeah.
That would
in
be
the Joy and Pep.
Are you guys gonna tell us about like your story, how you guys got involved and achieved
Yeah.
all of this like family tree
Sure.
thing?
Yeah.
I'll go into the how and then we'll have time for questions and discussion after.
Yeah.
Okay, we give you all these things about your why and all the things you can do. Now you're like, okay, how do I do it? So hopefully I will help you with how to do it. All right, so first let me just tell you a little bit about what else is in your folder before you get into some things.
If you are going, what should I do just every day, every week? Look at this business activity plan. It breaks down the month week by week and tells you exactly what to do each week. And if you can kind of get in a habit of following this business activity plan with all these, the black and white pages are little charts for you to fill out. If you don't like one of these, you don't have to use them, but it's a really good place to keep track of who you're talking to, who's a warm lead, who have you shared some samples with, who have you made a phone call to, who's come to your classes. That's a great place. I am a pen and paper girl. Natalie's a computer girl. It probably would drive her crazy how much paper is in my house. But
No, I'm kind of both. Like, I would want to print all this out and then write it in by hand.
right. So, you know, whatever you do, whatever your thing is. If you like to write, if you want to make this into a spreadsheet on your computer and do that, that's fine. But we wanted to give you these tools. So we're not going to go through this line by line, but if you're wondering what should I do each month, this kind of helps map that out. So please look at that in your own time, but I'll go through a couple things that are a little simpler. Okay, some tips or ideas. We're going to go through these. I'm going to talk quite a bit about each of these bullets. So if you want to write things down on the back of something, or you feel free, but the first thing we want to do, this is a network marketing business. So you want to create intersections and tell your story, okay? Intersections can be a lot of different things. But you want to, we heard this great analogy Sarah and I did when we were up in Utah a couple weeks ago. A lot of us don't like to talk about selling. Anytime we hear about selling, it really kind of turns us off. But we also we know what our oils do, so we like to talk about that. And so that's the best thing to do first, is talk about how great your oils are. We each have a story so far of what oils have done for us. So don't be afraid to tell people that. And then I think another important thing besides, oh, this is so great when my nose is stopped up, or this makes me feel this way, or this is replaced this in my house, we want to also talk to people about how the oils and the business make us feel. So for those of us that are moms, I feel empowered, I feel smart, I feel well informed, I feel like I'm taking care of my 3 girls really well when we can manage their health a lot at home. And that's what I talk about a lot. I talk about the fact that we get to stay out of the pediatrician's office when we are using our oils frequently. This girl we heard from at Silver Retreat, she is a Royal Crown Diamond, so that means she is making over $1 million a year with Young Living. And she's about what, Sarah, 27?
Yeah, she's
27?
really young.
She's really young. And she said, when you are talking about oils with people and experiences, she would sell oils like you sell a boat. She talked about boats. And boats aren't even as useful as oils, in my opinion. But she goes, you know, who would really want to buy a boat? She goes, you gotta repair them, you gotta keep them seasoned. You know, if you put them away for the winter and you get them back out in the summer, there's a ton of stuff to repair. There's a ton of stuff to paint. You've got to pay for a place to keep the boat. Boats are not a practical investment. But you know what? People who sell boats, they sell that feeling of like a sunset cruise with your spouse. They sell that feeling of your grandkids on the boat, like, yeah, this is awesome. That's what they sell, is that what the boat makes them feel like. And so don't neglect that part of the story. Along with the nuts and bolts of how these oils help your health, talk about how it makes you feel. Talk about the emotional benefits you've seen from using the oils. And then if you even go into the business side, I love that I bring in a 4-figure check to my family and I do not have to go to work. I love that I earned that silver income the month I had a baby and didn't teach one class. You know, those are the things we love that make us feel empowered, that make us feel good, the things we can look forward to. I mean, Sarah and I spent a lot of time just dreaming on Silver Retreat, like, what if our husbands could quit their jobs? I mean, that seems super impossible, but we know people who are announcing in our big team up in Dallas going, oh, my husband retired last month, we're doing oils full time together. And they're like 35, 40, and now for the rest of their life, they're set. And so those are the things we want to talk to people about with the business opportunity. With these intersections, we preach a lot about having classes. While we love doing classes, we also do not want you to neglect the power of one-on-ones, the power of make and takes. You do not have to, if you hate teaching, I love to teach. I'm a weirdo that loves to speak in front of people. It's fun for me. I don't know, it's bizarre. So the class thing, when I went in this room, I came to Sarah's class July of 2014, and the girl who was here was Jill Wade. Jill Wade is now earning between $15,000 and $20,000 a month, teaching, walking around, doing stuff with oils, and supporting her team. and I wanted to be Jill Wade. I was like, that girl knows her stuff. She's healthy. She's taking care of her family. That's what I want to do. And so you don't have to do it through classes. You can do it, again, through one-on-ones, make and takes. Aria just did a vendor event. Ashley just did a vendor event.
What's
at
a
a
make
table.
and take?
Make and take is when you go, hey, y'all come to our house. We're going to make soap, bath salts, immunity roller, and some Play-Doh for your kid, or something like that. So while they're coming over, like Kendra has done a really good job with this, they're making stuff, but while they're making stuff, you're kind of talking to them about, these are the benefits of the oils, without everyone looking at you all the time, sitting right here, talking through it and teaching. It's a more casual environment to host something like that. We have a lot of materials on the Business Builder page with recipes and things. And you could have people go, if you just, everybody bring $5 and you cover most of the cost, but they're helping. You don't have to always be out of pocket for those. But those are a fun way to teach without teaching. Come to a class. Some people don't want to come to classes. Some people like classes. It just depends. If you are going to teach, if you go, classes are a way I want to grow my business. I want to pitch classes at local community centers and retirement homes and YMCAs and stuff like that. Get good at teaching classes. Sit down in front of a video camera, teach a class to your spouse, your sister, your mom, and have them critique you. Have them go, oh, you said like too much, or you said too much, or you looked really unsure when you were talking about Copaiba. You really need to learn more about Copaiba. Have people in your life that will tell you. I'm happy to do that for my people, to go to a class that you're teaching and do some critique. Because you want to show your confidence, you want to show your capability, you want to show your skill and your knowledge. You don't have to know everything. There are plenty of times people ask me stuff that I say, I don't really know, I need to look that up. Or I think I might know a little bit about that, but I don't want to give you the wrong answer. Let me go check my reference materials and get back to you. It's okay to not know the answers, because I still don't know so many answers. So get good at teaching if you're going to teach classes. Also, I mentioned this a little bit, look outside of homes. Look into civic clubs, look into the YMCA. There are tons of places. I did a class for their MOPS group a couple weeks ago. There are places that need speakers, that need programming, that are trying to fill a docket for a semester of who are we going to get to come speak at this thing when these different groups meet. You might be a great answer to what they need is just someone to come in and teach a class. And that opens up just this whole area. I teach a few classes too at, there's a chiropractor I have signed up under me, and I'll teach classes at his office for people. So there's lots of places to teach classes. I talked about the vendor events. That is warm leads that you might have never met if you weren't there at that vendor event. Kendra did a farmer's market with Brandy down in Sienna Plantation, and they had people sign up on the spot, and Kendra got this whole list of names of people that are like, yes, I want to learn more. Invite me to a class. We want to come. Vendor events are fantastic for that. I've been really impressed, honestly, with the sign-ups that some of y'all have gotten directly on the spot at vendor events. I haven't always been at a place where, you got some too?
We got one.
Got one. Where someone's like, yeah, here's $160 right as I come to your table.
I'm always surprised anybody does
Yeah,
that. Even at a class, I'm like, you don't need to talk to your husband? I mean, it's not like I say that, but I'm thinking in my head, don't need to talk to your husband? Because my husband would be like, you did what?
So sometimes people are ready. They might have already been researching a while, and you're there, and you're local, and they're like, yeah, sign me up. But even if you don't get one sign up at a vendor event, a lot of times you leave with a list of emails or a list of phone numbers to call, want to meet for coffee, want to come to my house, want to come to, I have a monthly class at my house. I just always, every month, have a class. And then I tell my people, send your people. I got people coming tomorrow. I have no idea who they are, but y'all invited them, and you invited them, and I'm just going to teach them because it's exciting. So I'm always willing to teach if you are not. Lending a basket, okay, people right now on Facebook, we got the stomach bug again, and you know what to do. But, there's people that are posting about being sick, and they might not know about oils yet. What a blessing to be able to take a little basket, leave it on their doorstep. It has a diffuser to loan them. It has some thieves. It has some RC. It has, you could throw some tea in there that's not Young. It doesn't have to be all Young Living. And you just text them later, hey, I left a basket on your porch. Hope you're feeling better. They pull that diffuser out. It's got some little instructions. They've got stuff to rub on their kids, and they're smelling good. And they're like, wow, this is awesome. So you can kind of bless them in their time of sickness. But then they might go, hey, that was really cool. Can you tell me more about these or what they do? Stick in some little cards that Young Living has product information pages on their website that tell about the oils and what they do. So kind of look into other ways like that, one by one. I mentioned make intakes. That's kind of a sneaky way to teach. I don't mean that in a deceptive way, but it's a way where you might feel more comfortable talking about, okay, we're gonna make some bath salts that have Canaway and this and that in it, and this is kind of what it can do for your muscles as you soak in that bath, and people aren't watching you, they're measuring their salt and but they're listening, so make intakes are fun. Health partners, chiropractors, yoga studios. Aria's working with a doula right now to try to get classes at her birthing center. I mean, there's a lot of health
Massage therapist.
massage
Amber
therapists.
just signed up for massage therapist, yeah.
Yeah, so you can do all kinds of stuff with health. Overall, oils are being more and more accepted in the healthcare realm. It used to be hippie stuff, and now, I mean, I have one of the head resident pediatric fellows at UT Health, the hospital down the med center. She just signed up, and she's loving them. We have the head pediatric neurologist at the Texas Children's in Sugar Land is on our team. I mean, more and more people are going, not that they're all...
An endocrinologist too, doesn't Maryland have an endocrinologist?
Yeah. So not that they're all actively like selling, but they're starting to sign up and see that. So don't be afraid of med people, as I used to be. And then just use your oils out and about. When you're out at a girls' night, when you're out with family, use your Thieves hand sanitizer. Use your Stress Away. Use your just stuff that you have in your bag and bring it out in the grocery store line. You'd be surprised how many people go, what are you doing? Or what is that? Or that smells like, I mean, I was checking out at this little HEB over here, and I had just put on some oils, or put some on my girls, so I didn't even think I was wearing them, and I went through the checkout line, and this sweet man doing my groceries was like, you smell like essential oils. Do you have essential oils on? Just started talking to me about oils, and I was like, I do have oils on. Like, I was like, what are you? Oh, okay. So they'll ask you, use them out and about. So those are some ways to create those intersections and tell your story. It doesn't all have to be classes. It doesn't all have to be on Facebook. You figure out what you like to do and bring the oils into that. So figure that out for you. So then as you start building a team, because you're having these intersections, these one-on-ones and things, we always say become an oily concierge. Okay, you are your people's go-to. You want people to feel really comfortable if they have an issue with their order, if they need help contacting customer service, if they have a question about how to use their oils. A lot of times a really nice thing to do, I haven't always been great about this, I know Kendra's really good about this, I think Ashley you do this too, is have people go over to their house when their box comes. Because sometimes people get that box and they're like, I don't remember that class, I don't remember what she said, I'm just gonna go put this in my closet and I'll deal with it later. And they don't, they forget or they get busy. So if you go, hey, give me a call when your box comes in and let's open it together and let's review what the oils go through. So
I feel like that's a good time to give them their welcome kit too.
Yes.
Their welcome box from Joy and Pep with the reference material. Like that's an easy, call me when it comes in because I have stuff for you.
Right.
So don't forget to call me.
Right. So, and Kendra teed me up perfect because the next thing I was going to talk about is a welcome box. No, that was perfect. So when people join up with our team, you've all gotten a little, whether it be a bag or a box or a book or an app, we like to gift something to help people get started. That was modeled for us by our upline, and we find that when people get that gift, even though it costs us some money out of that starter kit bonus that we get, it really sets people up well if they have a reference book, if they have a few bottles to get started. So you can make that look like whatever you want. If your people all want apps, there's an easy way to gift the reference app. It's $6.99, so it's cheaper than the books. If you have people that love the touch and the feel of a reference book, that they can look up different things, gift them a reference book. And then we like to include the dropper bottles and the roller bottles and just some stuff to get them excited about opening their oils and using them. So make that however you want to make it. Again, we had the standard boxes for a while, but then we found people were doing their own thing more, and we said, great. Sarah was thrilled. She wanted to have all these boxes all over her house, but if you need us to order books, we can order books for you, or you can gift that app and give them a few bottles, even in just like a tiny little bag with a bow, and they're off to the races. So we do want them using their oils, both from a sense of it'll probably get them to be buying more oils, which benefits you on the business side, but overall, the last thing we want is for someone to sign up and not use them for their own health and their own family. So that's the welcome box. This is a huge thing for me. Okay, so part of being an oily concierge is getting people educated and understanding essential rewards and how wonderful essential rewards are. So from your standpoint as a business builder, Essential Rewards are amazing because they are guaranteed monthly commissions. It's people that are ordering every single month. And so when you get overwhelmed, when you have a really good month and the first day of the next month, your numbers are back down to 0 and we all go, oh man, I had this much last month, I'm back to 0. One thing that's really fun, if you have a lot of people in Essential Rewards, when you go look at your little bar graph and you see the shaded in thing, that's going to show you how many people are already going to spend. I mean, they'll fluctuate, they'll adjust their order a little bit. But like right now, I'm just to share this with y'all to be inspiring, hopefully. My shaded box for November before the first day of the month was $19,000. That's how much money people were signed up on Essential Rewards in my team without me having one class or doing one sign up. With $19,000. I know Sarah's is more than that. So I know $19,000 is my base. So what's going to happen? I'm going to sign people up to keep trying to grow. So the more you get people in Essential Rewards, that is the bread and butter of your business. One, because it's just guaranteed commissions. Two, those are people that are using their products and their oils that will be more likely to host a class for you, to maybe turn into a potential business builder. Because people start wanting to work the business side because they're going, I want all of these things. I want to buy them. I want to spend money on them. I want to do it guilt-free. I want to do it in a way that my paycheck supports my habit. And so if you get people on Essential Rewards and they start seeing how amazing they are, they start using the products, their friends start seeing them use the products, then it just kind of is a natural overflow. So people are seeing a change in their life, they're getting it with the oils and the natural products. Again, like I said, they'll be more open to hosting a class for you and maybe, you know, hopefully intrigued by the business side and go, I want to do this, what are you doing? And then you've got a leg and a builder right there. So if I could tell you one, you know, our first goal we said was to just sign people up, but don't stop there. Keep taking care of them, check in with them, don't bug them, but check in with them and talk to them about Essential Rewards because it is a fantastic program. I mentioned this at the class last week when Ashley was there. I was like, Young Living is at the point now with Essential Rewards where I've been on it long enough where I'm getting 25% back on my orders. So if I spend $100, they're giving me $25 back on top of whatever promos I hit. If I spend $300, if I hit the top promo level, I'm getting all the goodies that they do plus 25% of that. So what's 25%
sometimes
of
one of the
300?
promos is extra points.
80, 75
That's what it is.
a month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
20
so
extra
it gets
points,
$75 back plus over 200. So it's just
It's
too
great.
good. ER is just too
Yeah.
good. I just it's
It
just
sells
wonderful.
itself.
Yeah.
HEB has never given me anything back.
No.
I give them all my money.
Well, I get excited with my Target Red card. I'm like,
Oh,
5% off.
5%,
And I'm like,
no.
that really gives me 25%. That's why I
You
order
gotta-
all my personal
You
care
got a
products.
cartwheel along with that.
So there might be pricier products, but they're such high quality. And then when you're getting all this stuff back, it's just like, well, that's a no-brainer. So the other thing that we're trying to push with Essential Rewards, like I talked to y'all about that 19,000. That's my ER percentage according to Oily Tools. I think is only like 26%. 26% of my downline's on ER, and it's 19,000. What if I could get it to 50%? What if half my people were on Essential Rewards? Well, I'd be a gold right now. So it's really a great way to build that up. So get your people on Essential Rewards. I think you get the picture. One thing to do along with this daily checklist, be checking your virtual office daily. It's very easy, again, especially if you're like, I only have 5 people. That's great. Take really good care of those 5 people. I only have 10 people. I only have 2 people. Start checking in and look at what those people are doing. Not in a spy way, but just check them and see whose ER order might not have processed. Who's really close to hitting a promo. That's what I did a video in my Hustle page about this last week. A lot of times we see stuff like Ashley and I were talking later on, and I don't always catch it either, so I'm not like pointing fingers, but like there was someone on in Courtney or Crystal's downline that she spent like I think she spent like $289. So she was really close to hitting the 300 promo, and we just missed it. So like if you see somebody, if you hover over their little checkbox of when their ER is going to process, it tells you what their PV is going to be. So if you hover over it and you see, oh, their ER is going to process next week and they have a 289 PV, I need to tell them and make sure they know about the 300 promo, because if they add 2 things, then they get all this stuff. And if we make it an ER order, so we want to work with our people and pay attention, again, not to just try to get people to spend more money, but we don't want our people to miss promos if their ER didn't process because their card expired or something fell out of their cart or whatever. We want to be keeping an eye on that. So look at your virtual office daily, see how people are doing. See, some people you'll see there where people sign up for ER or when people drop off ER or something like, or drop off meaning cancel ER. And then if you see someone cancel ER, you can call them and go, is there a problem? Is there anything I can help you with? You know, and see if they'll sign back up. So just check your virtual office daily and look at what's going on with people. The other thing we heard from Madison, this 27-year-old Royal Crown Diamond at Silver Retreat, she was talking about communicating the business opportunity. And I think a lot of us don't want to seem salesy or pushy, so we don't tell people about the business opportunity. But it's really fantastic. And so she said, communicate the opportunity specifically, consistently, and to everyone. Again, evoking that feeling when I talked about selling a boat. Like, what does it make you feel like to think about what you're doing right now with Young Living, but what you could do? Like I told you, I wanted to be Jill. I loved how sharp she was, how well she communicated. And you have an opportunity everyone needs to hear about. You need to help people to know that they deserve that opportunity. And there's really no barrier of entry. You don't have to have a master's. You don't have to have work experience with this. You just have to be willing to do the work. Like Sarah said, it's not easy, but it's simple. It's a simple model. It's just not easy to always do it, but it's simple.
I have found
Yeah, go
one
for it.
time to just like really introduce it is like when they're signing up, if they're signing up with you, or even if you send them a link and they ask, because in the sign up part of it is they ask for your social, even just to explain there, it's never a requirement for you to sell anything, but it's always an opportunity. And just to even just test the water a little bit and just see what their temperature is on that at all, you know, it's just like, oh yeah, that might happen, or because that's what I had one sign up at the farmer's market, and I said, they're gonna ask for your social, and it's just because of blah blah blah, and she was like, well, that might happen. And I was like, note to self, that might happen, you know.
Yeah.
Or it's like, well, I'm not interested in that. Note to self. Okay,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and I
But
like
that's
to
a great time.
I tell people with the whole social thing, like, this allows Young Living to send you a thank you check. So if you're not going to work this as a business, that's fine. But like, if your mom wants to sign up, or your sister, or your neighbor, and they use your number, it allows Young Living to send you a check for that. So
And sometimes that first check is all they need to know.
they go, oh, okay,
I
that
can
was
do this.
that's pretty cool. Sarah and I heard it. When we were at the farm. There was this girl that was a diamond. She was young too.
Oh, yeah, the girl we were.
Eavesdropping on her
Eavesdropping on,
conversation because we wanted to be her because of her success. We're not very shy. We just kind of scoot on over. She was talking about she had some contractors at her house doing some work in her bathroom. She signed them both up for kits, and one of them said, my wife and I might do this as a business. And she was like, great. I'm like, that's why you're a diamond, because she had her diffusers going. They started asking her some questions, and she wasn't afraid. They were in her home doing work for however many hours, and so she just started talking to them about Young Living. So again, you might go, whoa, that is not my personality. She must be super extroverted. You never know, but if you just be open to being willing to share and have your little condensed story ready for what that looks like. Okay. Oh, and then the last thing I have to do is reach out to your upline. Upline, us. They all did this really fast. We did this really fast, this page. They made it, I had a really ugly page, and they made it pretty.
What's wrong with this page?
We
I'll
can
sacrifice
sacrifice
that
some
one.
typos for how much prettier this looks than what I did. So we all bring our own strengths. That's what Big Team's all about. Reach out to your upline. So Diane was talking about having an issue with customer service. Sometimes you get really great customer service people, and sometimes you do get some lousy people. I feel like that's like
They're new.
just they're new,
Yeah.
and they're not trying to mess you around or be unresponsive.
They
But
just don't know.
we want to help you. So if that happens to be, how do I structure? Will you come critique my teaching? Will you make a phone call for me? I mean, I fixed an issue for somebody. It was a huge thing. Like, she'd had something happen earlier this year that just had gotten gunched up at like every part of the process. Like, she tried to do something in January. Anyway, and I'm like, Peggy, you should have called me like the first thing. Like, again, I wasn't mad at her, but and we got it all fixed, but it took some undoing because of just some kinks in the hose. And so I just said, call me right away. You're never bothering me. I can talk to people at Young Living, and I have had the experience, so we can probably solve this problem faster.
And that's us being your oily concierge.
Yeah.
Like, you're the oily concierge for the people below you, helping them with any oils problems. your upline business builders above you are your oily concierge in the business. We can make phone calls and make things happen, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
So call us.
Yeah. So that's the third do of those three. Okay, before I move on to some don'ts, do y'all have any questions? I threw a lot of stuff out at you.
Even if, I just want to say, even if it's not a customer service problem, like I text Allison and Sarah all the time with things like, how do I ask this person to let me teach a class, or, you know, this
The farmer's
person
market,
said
yeah.
this, or, yeah, I mean, so it's like business stuff, even if it's not like this went wrong or whatever, just like, what's your advice on handling this situation, or me and this girl have the same person we want to sign up, what would you do, and blah, blah, blah.
And sometimes when people come to me with that, I'm like, I don't know, let me go ask Angela and Jill, because those are my uplines.
Yeah.
And so they answer me. Like, that's
Yeah.
what's great about this, is that none of us are in this alone. And if we, I'm assuming, yes, all the uplines, if we cannot figure it out, like, there are people above us who would love to help. So there's a whole team to support you.
Yeah. So I've always loved it so far. So those are some do's. If you think of a question, just write it down. We'll get to it later. Okay, let's talk about some don'ts. All right, don't misuse social media. Social media is probably one of the biggest reasons why my business has grown the way it has. So I am a big advocate of using the social media. But we do want to be balanced. You have all seen the posts from other companies that go bananas or message you incessantly. I'm not going to name names, but it happens. There are people we've hidden from our timelines because it's just
All day, every
incessant.
day.
So don't misuse it. Post about your oils. Post about how great this helped up your kid's respiratory issue. And this, I post all the time about not being at the pediatrician. But a good ratio that we have heard is post oils at a 1-to-5 ratio. So you don't want to have everything be oils, or you're going to come across as salesy and annoying. You want to post about your cute kid. You want to post about your vacation. And oh, by the way, I'm loving my oils. And then you want to post about the Oscars, and you want to post about this, and then, oh, by the way, and I'm still using my oils. Like, you want to keep that ratio good so that people go, oh, I still want to see cute Luke Bargy and his big blue eyes. I want to see that. But Lindsay's not going to go, 3 times a day posting stuff. So try to think about that 1-to-5 ratio. The other thing that I have told a lot of my team to do is deleting old posts of promos and classes. So at the end of the month, if a promo is about to end, I will post about oils more just to try to catch different audiences or people. But like October, it was all the oregano and this and that and signing up for ER. So I had some different posts about that. But when October's over, I go back to my timeline and I delete all of those. Because if someone's going to my page or is looking at my page, I don't want it to be all oils and all old stuff about old classes, old promos. I just want to delete it. So I think they serve a purpose to get it out there to your people. But then when that is gone, I just go clean up my timeline. So take it or leave it, but I like to do that on my Instagram and my Facebook to just clean stuff up where if somebody's sneaking on my page
It's
and
like you want
spying.
to post often enough to where people know, oh, you're that oils person. I've gotten several signups from people who just knew, like, oh yeah, Sarah does Young Living, like, go ask her. And so people have come to me, hey, I hear you do Young Living. So people know I'm doing it, but you want to strike a balance between that and super annoying where people unfollow you.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. And then the other thing you can use on social media, obviously, is as you are going through your timeline, is seeing people who might be sick or having a certain issue. That, again, I talked about those little sick blessing baskets. You can go and drop, and you don't have to make them a whole basket, but make them some banana bread and give them a roller of thieves or something, and just go drop it by, and that can mean a lot to somebody. So look out for those. Oh, we're at the doctor again, or OMG, we're so sick. Look for those people. They might want some oils. Don't compare yourself to others, and I mean that both internally on our team, with other people here that are enjoying PEP, or with other network marketing companies. So Young Living is not a super flashy company as far as, like, you see people go, oh my gosh, I just got this new Kendra Scott earrings from my upline, or oh my gosh, I just got this new Louis Vuitton bag because I hit this level. We like to do gifts and special things at levels, but we're not really into all that stuff. So you might see someone that hits a rank and they're posting all about whatever. So we don't really know what they're making. Like I looked at something, I was curious. Someone posted about all these gifts they got for hitting a rank, and I was like, that's awesome, because I do feel like that camaraderie of network marketing. So like even if someone's doing another company, I'm like, way to go, mama, like you rocked that. I'm proud of them. But I went and looked and went, oh wow, she got a Louis Vuitton, a big Louis Vuitton. I wonder what her average income is for a month. And I went and I Googled that company, income disclosure, the same way we have our income disclosure. Everybody has that for taxes. And she wasn't even making that much in a month in that average rank. So I was going, well, I didn't get a Louis Vuitton bag, but I'm making double that at my rank. And so again, not to like, ha ha ha, but just don't be fooled by some of the flashy things that people post about in other companies. I need to stop. I'm not getting to the end of my thing. I'm saying the wrong words. But just kind of keep your nose down and do what you need to do. And different seasons of growth happen at different times for people. There's a girl in Young Living that is doing amazing. She was a year ahead of me where I went to college. So I kind of knew her, but not really. Well, she became like a really famous blogger before she started Young Living. So we started the business like about the same time, I think, but now she's a platinum, like that, because she has thousands of people that read her blog, and thousands of people saw, oh, she's doing oils, I want to sign up. And so she happened to have that, I didn't, so what? I'm going to keep doing my things with my journey and my path, and so if I wanted to, I could just get bitter and compare and go, oh, well, it should have been nice if I was a blog celebrity, but I'm not. So I'm still slow and steady wins the race, and you know, it happens. So don't compare yourself to other people. Don't say, oh, she hit that rank faster than me and we started at the same time, or oh, you know, whatever. Just try to keep doing your path with this, and if you keep up with hard work, you're gonna be fine. Let's see. And the last thing that sounds so cheesy, but don't quit. This is not a business you can fail at. You cannot fail at network marketing. The nature of this is to grow. So even if you like step back for a minute, you might have some people under you that keep signing people up. And if you gave half an effort to it, you get even more stuff. So I would just say don't quit. Don't walk away from it, especially if you've started building something. Just keep at it because there's so much potential there. Yeah, so that's again, slow and steady or quick and explosive. You will grow if you keep at it. It'll just happen. So there's ebbs and flows. I mean, there's times too when I feel like I get to a certain month and I'm like, my OGV is staying the same over these months. And then it's like, woo, okay, great. But then it might go down. But it's like the trajectory is always up. Even if it's up and down, it's growing. So don't let each month kind of like, if you have a lousy month, so what, you had a lousy month. So don't quit. Any questions about the don'ts or the do's if you have something? No? Okay, well I think we're about, okay, here's a slide about Essential Rewards. Y'all know how lovely Essential Rewards is, so get your people on that, like I said. You can talk to people about the investment in the business. Anyone that buys a starter kit can do this business. So we were looking at talking about a business, another multi-level marketing company, that the initial investment was like $6,000. I mean, the initial investment was $6,000. So that's not something I would be doing. But the fact that anyone that has a kit can start growing a business to me is super attractive, because what business can you do without an investment? None. So if your initial investment is $160, that's pretty legit to get to do a business with that. So that's just a good point to make to some people.
And it's really quick to make it back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just 4 signups.
Yeah.
You know, and you've made it. You've made it back.
So I signed up for oils just like not to work the business. I signed up because my friend Angela, that I've been friends with for 4 years, gave me some samples of RC and Thieves. And before that, I had rolled my eyes every time she would talk about oils for like 4 years. And then she gave me some samples, and I said, they worked, and I said, sign me up, but I don't want to work the business. And she's like, that's fine, I'm not working the business, whatever. And so I signed up, and then really quickly afterwards, maybe like a month, Natalie signed up. And then I had a couple other friends, because I was just posting on social media, and people were like, what is this diffuser next to your kid's bed? Like, what is this thing? You know, and asking questions and stuff. Anyway, it wasn't until like the fall when the 3 of us, Allison and Natalie and I, kind of said, hey, let's try to work the business together. So for 6 months, I was like, I kept getting checks in the mail, but I was like, I'm not working the business. I'm not working the business. Why am I getting this money in the mail? And can I get some more? And so anyway, so in September of 2014, we really started kind of intentionally, like, let's just try this thing and see what happens. And it just kind of like took off from there. So that's mine.
What did you do to make it happen?
Classes. Having classes, like, that's the teach, like, finding your thing, teaching classes, teaching one-on-ones, talking to people. That's it. I'm not a famous blogger either. So, just like talking about it on Facebook. A lot of people came just through Facebook, like friends, people that I was already friends with. And that's still happening 2 years later. Like, I have a girl that I have not laid eyes on in 20 years that I went to high school with. And she signed up like in October because she was like, okay, I'm ready to try these oils now. I'm like, okay, you know.
But the only reason she contacted you is because she knew.
That's because she knew I was the
You were
crazy
the
oil
oil
girl
lady.
because I post on a 1-to-5 ratio. I really post mostly my kids on Facebook because they're super cute and super funny. And then every once in a while I'll throw in something oily. And so people just know that I'm the oils person. So.
I think even your oil posts, they don't have to be, here's a bottle of Thieves, and here's why Thieves is good for
Right.
you. Like, it can be, you know, Eva has made up a lavender song. You know, I
Yes,
mean,
yeah.
it's like, yeah.
Well, like I
You
think
do
about the
very
very
well.
first post that I put up about oils that I think Natalie signed up after I put this post. I had a diffuser next to the bed, next to Lizzie's bed, and I took a picture of her at night, snuggled up next to her diffuser, and I was like, we've created a monster, you know, an essential oily monster. And people were like, what is this oil thing that you're like, what is this? And so that's all it said, and I wasn't trying to get anybody to go sign up for oils through that post. It just was me naturally sharing something that I love. Like I naturally share my love for anthropology and other things that don't pay me for sharing my love. So, anyway. So at some point I finally, like probably in the fall, I said, okay, let's try this. And then it's been 2 years of intentionally working the business. And sometimes I've been really busy and taught a lot of classes, and sometimes, like this summer, we had stuff going on, and I just took the whole time off. So it kind of has ebbed and flowed over 2 years. So it's going to do that. That's my story.
Mine's similar. I wanted the oils, but like I said, Jill made me go, I want to do this. And I never wanted to do anything network marketing ever. I was so turned off by
Me too.
that whole thing. And some people were great, they were fine. I have a sweet friend in Austin that has gotten super high up into the company, and I really admired her, the way she did it, because she didn't pester or bug people. She just did her thing and was so consistent, and her business grew. So I'd already kind of had a bug in my ear and like a little bit of a piqued interest watching her. And then I just kind of went, what does it take? I came over to Sarah's house, I'm like, I'm ready for a kit. And then the first, and this is very, very abnormal, but this was just like a really good affirmation for me. It was the first month I got my kit. Based on just random friends that were ready and the classes I did, I had 16 personal signups the first month I did it. So I got a check for nearly $900 my first month. Again, abnormal, but I randomly had those people, you know, my sister, my mother-in-law, a few people just signed up. Kendra was later. She wasn't my first month. She was, I think, my second month. She was at my first class. And so when I got that check in the mail, I was like, "Ooh, let's do this! Like this is
legit.
This is not just play money. Like this has this is a big check, and then it has the potential to grow." When I started looking at income disclosure and like really looking at this isn't just somebody in a glossy brochure that is like making this money. The girl, Jill, came to teach my first class in September. She came from Dallas, which was awesome. And there's so many times in my business that I go, what would Jill do? What would Jill do? She would do it. She would go whatever the case may be. So Jill came and taught my class, and Kendra was there, and my sister was there, and they're my two biggest legs. Then I asked my mother-in-law if I could start signing people up under her. I knew she'd spend at least $100 a month, so I made her like a ghost leg. And that's who Ashley's, most of y'all are under my mother-in-law, sitting under there. She's under me, and then Ashley's under her, and Lindsay's under my mother-in-law. And then, anyway, so I made her my gold leg. So it just kind of started, and I was teaching classes, anyone that would let me, I was teaching classes. so I just, especially that first fall and spring, I guess the first year, I still teach a lot of classes, but that first year I was really like,
You taught a ton.
my goal was at least teaching about 3 or 4 classes a month personally. And then as my organization started growing, you know, Kendra would say, that's the cool thing, is when your organization starts growing and Kendra calls me and is like, I'm going to work a farmer's market. I'm like, great, I'm going to a football game. And Kendra's doing that. Not like, hey, gosh, she's working and I'm not. But that's the beauty of residual income, is when you're on this team, there's people that are starting to work under you and it benefits them and it benefits you. So it's not like pyramid scheme, but it is a team. And so when
I
you're-
remember going to, Kendra was teaching some class down maybe at Brandy's house, and I was maybe bringing you the Zyno, I was bringing you something. And it was my first experience of like walking in and dropping something off for a class and then leaving. And I had this like weird, these people are making me money and I'm just leaving them. Like, it was weird, but you'll get to that point, you know.
And that's when it starts to kind of snowball, and you go, okay, there's all these people that are doing their thing and building their business, but then it's also benefiting you as they're under you somewhere. So, people say this too about network marketing. At the beginning, you might be doing a lot of work and getting underpaid. Like, you might not be making a big paycheck at the beginning when you're building your business, but it doesn't take
That's how much people quit.
Yeah, a bunch of people quit at that point. But if you stick with it and you go and you break through that, there's a lot of your life with network marketing that you're getting overpaid. Like, I felt like I got overpaid the month I didn't do anything when I had a baby.
all summer.
You know, and so I didn't do anything that month. I checked in with my team and I signed a couple people up. I didn't teach any classes though, and just kept up with my team and kept up with my people. And this organization, this team kept running while I was absent from it. So that's when it gets really cool, is when you start building that and you've got people working, and again, they're building their business, so it benefits them, but it benefits you. So
I want you to tell your story too.
well, so I signed up for oils in
March.
I don't know if it was March or April. Like I said, I was going to do it in March, and I don't think I did until April of 2013. So like
14.
I think it was 2013.
Mm-mm.
It was
2014. 2014. We didn't do oil, so yeah, good promise.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's probably right. So 2014, so like 2.5 years ago, and then I signed up just because I've had migraines my whole life, and at that point, that was the year where like in February, I want to say, I had like 4 days of the whole month where I didn't have a migraine. Every other day I had a migraine. And so I was kind of like, okay, this is it, I can't do this anymore. And so I signed up and I started using them. And I mean, I kick myself now because I didn't get on ER until like 6 months later. And I spent so much money in the beginning and I missed out on so much free stuff.
Because I was a terrible upline leader because I wasn't working as a business,
She
and so
just
I
didn't
didn't know
know.
how to tell her. Yeah.
And it was like a competition in my head. I was like, oh, with the promos, I want all the free things. I want all the free things. So my stash is really quite big because of that, because I ordered so much in the beginning. But then in September, Sarah, that was kind of when you finally were starting to work it as a business, and you were like, you should just have a class, just see who wants to come, whatever. You don't have to work it as a business. Let's just get your oils paid for. And so that was my goal, get my oils paid for. And so I had my first class. That was the same month that Allison kind of started, because your class was like at the beginning of the month, and mine was in the middle.
Yeah.
And then I think I had like 18 people sign up that night, which that doesn't happen anymore. I don't think. Jill has talked about that before
Well, a year
on
ago,
Facebook, that
Allison had
more and more people are doing oils, so you just don't have these classes where like everybody comes and everybody signs up. But it was kind of insane, and I got a huge check, and I was like, huh, okay, I can do this. And so I kind of kept going, and we started at the same time. Back to like, don't compare yourself to others. Her little wavy graph thing at the beginning says 19,000. Mine right now I think says like 6. So we've worked at a very different pace, and I took off. I had a baby in April, and I haven't done like nothing until this month, and I'm still getting my check. It's not as big as theirs, but it is paying for my oils, which was my goal to begin with. And last month was a really big month for me, and it was the first time I think in a while that I finally seen I can maybe hit silver. I can maybe keep going, and that's kind of the whole thing, is that you're gonna have ups and downs, and it might take you a long time, but if you just stick with it, it'll keep going. Because the idea, this is what Jill told us in the beginning, is In the beginning, it's you and all the people you know. But eventually, it's all the people that those people know, and then all the people that, and that's how it kind of gets. So like, a lot of my stuff comes from Allison Swift, and I don't even know those people that are 6 down from me. I've never met them. But that's just kind of how it goes. So in the beginning, you're working really hard. You're talking to people a whole lot more. And then as you keep going, it's more helping manage your team and helping answer questions and customer service and that kinds of thing. There is a paper in there, I guess it's on the income disclosure, that talks about time spent at each rank and everything.
Oh,
And
you
I
have
think
the
it also
time,
even
you have the
says,
time
like,
chart.
how long it takes on average to get to each rank. So I thought that was pretty encouraging because like I started working the business in September and I hit executive in January. I was looking at and then that was January of 2015 and I'm still an executive.
Which is when I hit silver. Which is
Yeah.
when we hit silver and executive at the same
High
time.
five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it just takes longer. And sometimes too, which I think the difference between the two of you and me, like I had 2 friends that were directly under me who said, yeah, we want to work it as a business. Boom, there are my 2 legs. And Allison, I feel like, had a lot of business builders really quickly. Kendra hopped on pretty fast. Like, yeah, okay, let's do this. And her sister was like, boom, let's do this. Bam, she had 2 business builders really fast. Natalie struggled for a long time to find builders. Just it's a different story because
I'm still kind of struggling with that.
yeah. And so and they have none, but they're not giving up and they come to everything and they're still doing it. So,
36 people under me,
which is great.
1 builder.
One is better than none. So don't
12 people
freak
on the
out
yard.
if you
They
can't
will
find don't freak out if you can't find a builder right off the bat. Like builders right underneath you. You can, that's great, you're just gonna grow faster, but if you can't, like don't freak out about it. Just don't quit. Those people will eventually come.
And I mean,
it just
I have
takes-
people in my first line that have expressed interest in building, and it's just not a good time for them right now, or they work full time and they're really busy at work right now, or stuff like that. Really, I mean, it's just kind of a waiting game for me right now. I think that eventually they might decide that they want to start doing it, and really all it takes is, like, I think the common theme among all of us is that we started getting these checks and we're like, how can I make this bigger?
Yeah.
So, it will happen. You just can't quit. You can't give up. Jill said, I remember this kind of stuck with me, and I did not do this, but you did this, and I think this is part of why you were so successful, is that like you gave it everything that you had your first,
for a season.
however, like 4 months or something. Teach at least 4 classes a month, and when you do that, like it really will just take off a lot faster. But you don't have to. And
You can work it at whatever rate you want.
Some of us have to work full time.
Yeah. So they can't. Exactly.
But it's not like you're not going to keep growing, because you are. You do keep growing, just at a slower rate.
Any other questions? That was long. We had long answers.
Awesome. So can I ask, what levels are you all at right now? You're silver?
I'm silver.
Okay.
Allison is
I'm
silver, and Natalie is executive, but she's really close to silver.
We'll see.
You're close.
I want the iPad.
I know.
I did.
And Sarah and I are aiming to hit gold by March. Is that the cutoff for convention?
The cutoff for convention, to like go to convention and have the lanyard that says your rank.
And get to
March.
walk the stage.
And we get to walk the stage and get in, like, you know,
Oh my
it's a
gosh.
whole big deal.